At some point in time in history, you can see it in the book of Acts, that the church or believers were called the Way. Probably somewhere derived off of John 14:6, on the way, the truth, and the life. But the terminology Christian was actually used in a very derogative sense, as insulting. Not necessarily in the idea of imitate Christ or imitate me as I imitate Christ, as Paul stated. But it was intended to be like mockers, like imposters. It had a negative connotation to it. And today, while some consider that name to be an honor and they fight for it and so on, it's kind of, I don't know if ironic would be the word, but we get this mindset of elitism because we're a Christian, because of we submit ourselves to the Lord, which that's a conversation that comes on a little bit later. But we think of ourselves higher than it's like if we're above certain people and certain groups of society or other religions and things of that nature, which is rather contradictory to the nature of Jesus. Jesus did not position himself as this lofty individual. He was humble, full of humility. And even though he 100% came from the DNA of the Father, he didn't really walk around holding that over people. He didn't even walk around holding his lordship over people. He made room for people to discover who he really was and what he was really about. And his character demonstrated such. And sometimes I wonder, for my own life, does my character demonstrate such? Am I being a good imposter? Am I loving like Jesus loved? Do I have it within me to love a Judas? To love a woman at the well? Do I have it within me to love a Peter? And that's like, those are the things that we need to model our lives after. And following Jesus is more than theology and doctrine, which is unfortunately what it's become boiled down to. And yeah, if you believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, you shall be saved. But it's a little bit more than that. We're looking for people to say a prayer instead of live a life. And God forbid if it becomes difficult, if it becomes challenging. And I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I'm sure there's more than one side, more than two, where it's thought that if your life is difficult, you're possibly in sin. And then I've been in the other side. If your life is not difficult, you're possibly in sin. And both are right and both are wrong. Life is to be challenging. Life is to be difficult. Jesus even said, it's the hard road that leads to life. And goodness leads to repentance. Which then can get one thinking, man, every time something good happens in my life, God's trying to save me from something because I'm acting a fool. And then on the other side, every time something challenging happens, oh, I must be doing something right for the Lord because I have this challenge in my way. Like, no, it's just laundry, or whatever it is. We are very either or in the body, in the church. But if you even look at the symmetry and the connectivity of the muscles and sinews of the body, the human anatomy, like in martial arts, they tell you to watch the shoulders because every movement will come out of the shoulders. That means the foot in some weird way is connected to the scapula. And if that's true in human anatomy, in the human body, I imagine there's a level of truth to that and validity that we are all connected and that all things are connected. Even Jesus said in 2 Corinthians 5 that I have redeemed the entire world, or Paul said it about Jesus, that I have redeemed the entire world unto myself. So you got all these things that have these levels of connectivity, and it's not so either or. Like, we want to just put everything in its little compartment, but it's more than just that. It's more than just putting everything in its little compartment. And so it's not just you're an evangelist, or you're a pastor, or you're a prophet. It's you're all these things. You just have strengths. But you're also going to have weaknesses. And it's that beauty of contrast that really will reveal who he is. Light is revealed in darkness, but yet God, who is light, hides himself in darkness. And so you have these conflicts that are in the spiritual realm of life that are beautiful. I've had friends who God has used them mightily in the most ugly parts of their life. Where everything seems completely unredeemable, but God. But I've strayed a little from the point. Being a believer doesn't make you better than anyone. Jesus came to serve and not be served. I've met some amazing leaders in my life. while I was trying to serve them, they were serving me. And they were full of grace and humility and mercy. They showed me who Jesus really was. And that's really what we got to do, is show people who Jesus really is. Because he's not a doctrine, he's not a theory, he's not a theology. It's not even an idea or a concept, he's a person. And we get to show a world who needs him who he is.